Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another round, another season of the Virtual Drift Championship, now powered by Next Level Racing and sponsored by Tire Stacks and Grip Royal. My name is Craig, and with me, as always, is Tanner. What's going on, dude?
Oh man, another season and we're back, and I'm so excited. Powered by Next Level Racing. Man, doesn't that roll off the tongue nicely? Good to have them along with us for this season of the Virtual Drift Championships, and it's looking like it's going to be a crazy season.
Yeah, absolutely, and a really fun track to start things out. At first glance, it might look a little simple, but to really get this track right and get all those points on the board today for qualifying, it can become tricky. Let's take a look at that line map here. And started the track on the left. Nice run up and a big entry into clip one, your first outside zone, and then diving down into a massive wall run where drivers get a decent little decel area in that track, but they need to be careful. They're not allowed to slam on the brakes here. It needs to be a very smooth and a nice decel down into that wall so that the chase doesn't, run that car over, and they'll get back going on throttle around that wall and then into clip three. Clip three, your next outside zone, is a very important part of the track, coming into the power alley. And it's, sort of a marker where the drivers need to transition. So judges will be looking out for that today. If they're a little late here, they'll go wide for clip four, your next inside clip. If they're a little early, they're more than likely going to drop a tire off the back end of that track and then go shallow into clip four and go over that rumble strip where judges don't want to see that lead driver dropping a wheel on the rumble strip. Then to the outside of the track once again for clip five, and then transitioning one more time for a big outside zone right on the edge of the track. Drivers don't get a wall here, so it's, got to be careful once again and not drop a tire off the back end of that track, and then they'll finish it out. It looks like we've got our first driver at the line and ready to go.
We sure do. So to kick off the season 6 of the Virtual Drift Championship is Erica Sturkis, ready to give us our first run of the new season. We see everybody saying the stream looks great. Yeah, Craig worked really hard on this. Ooh, almost false started there as Erica takes off and starts down the track as my camera decides not to work. There we go. As he initiates in, trying to get it up as close as he can through the wall ride of clip 2. Now for that transition point of 3 that we really want to see them taking. Really clean though through the inside clip as he comes to the final transition and around the last little bank, keeping it nice on the edge and crossing the line to start things out as Ericus. And wow, if all the runs are going to be like that, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, we did miss his entry there. I think we both got confused with Matthew Erickson's last name there. But look at there, starting things out with a 90.3 on the board for Erica Sturkis. And we're quickly on to Alexander Yegard. Rookie driver here throwing that Lexus in and looking good through the first turn. Nice transition into this wall, picks up throttle pretty quick. Traveling along that wall, he is on a little inside there, but he catches the clip. Has to make a small correction around that inside clip. But overall, pretty good. Oh, and it's just as I say that, he does drop a tire off the back end of that track in the last outside zone. So we'll wait and see what the judges will give him for that score. And 79.3 for Alexander.
Yeah, 79.3. He's got some room to bank up there, though, and he does get a second run. But on to our next driver already, Brandon Williams, sleeping a little bit at the line as the lights did flash for him. But Brandon, good to have you back. Good to see that awesome livery you have on your car, and coming into that initiation through clip 1, transitioning along the wall ride, putting the rear bumper right against the wall. Look at that, almost perfect. As we see him transition now into that inside clip, keeping it nice and tight. Brandon is definitely doing a great job. All the drivers this year, even watching them in practice, have really stepped up the game. Could have been a little deeper there through the final clip, but makes it work. Brandon Williams.
He sure did. Not too bad there. Really good line throughout the course up until that last and final outside zone, but I think he'll end up with a decent score. Oh, we didn't get to see it on. Okay, now we're back. And 76 on the board for Brandon Williams as we move on to Luciano. Luciano returning to us again this season. This time in this BMW, looking good through the first turn here. Nice and smooth down into clip 2 in this massive wall ride here. Good line. And a great transition on clip 3. Grabs clip 4. And deep into clip 5. Overall, good run here from Luciano for his first run of Season 6.
All right, so it looks like Luciano there with an 82.7 as we move on to our next driver here. Robert killing it in this beautiful 370Z as we see him through the initiation now for the wall ride of clip 2, putting it nice and deep onto the wall, has some good angle and some good speed coming into clip 3. That inside clip right sideways. He makes his final transition now to keep it on that yellow line and does so beautifully, finishing out his first run.
Yeah, he certainly did there. Nice run from Robert. I like the way he came down into clip 2 and on that wall, rode it all the way around, stayed on that white line. One of the things judges will be looking for today. And look at there, 88.3 on the board for his first run here in the Virtual Drift Championship. And here we go, Cormac Guard, another rookie driver here, coming in on the wild card and coming up a little shallow for clip 1. A little tentative coming in to clip 2. But a nice transition there on clip 3 and grabs 4 as well. Starting to look better here for his first run in the series. And there he goes, finishing it out.
Not too bad from Cormac there. Sounded a little stabby on throttle, so maybe you'll have to get a little smoother for his second run. But those first run nerves, I know what they're like. You know what they're like, but especially on the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. And your first season here in the Virtual Drift Championship as well. It's a lot on the line, but a 75 he'll put on the board.
Which isn't too bad. As we move on to Dimitri Mitten in the first JZA 90 that we get to see this season. Very beautiful car. Good initiation through clip 1. Now onto the wall ride of clip 2. Doing a nice job keeping it on, keeping the same amount of angle to that whole clip as well, which I know the judges will like. Little shallow on the inside clip, could have been a bit deeper, but holding his line well and his angle well as he puts it right on the yellow line and finishes out his first run as well, Dimitri Mitten.
Yeah, the rookie's coming out today and putting on some really good runs. Very clean, smooth, precise. Wait and see what he gets on the board here. And an 88 for Dimitri Mitten. And we're on to Jarko Tresh. Been watching Tresh in practice here lately, and he has been doing fantastic. Let's see if he can put down a solid run for his first run. And look at there, filling that zone for the first turn and smoothly down into clip 2 and along this wall. Staying in that zone. Good transition here. Does go a little wide, but grabs the next one and transitions along that yellow line. He does end up leaving it a bit, but overall, good solid start for Tresh here.
Yeah, Yaroslav. Ooh. Ooh.
And an 89 on the board for Tresh.
Very good job there for his first run from Yaroslav there. As we're back around to the top of Group 1, Erica Sturkis sitting on that 90.3 and current points leader in qualifying. Really cooks it, trying to go a little too hard and full send into that first clip and going off course and getting him a 0 for his second run.
Yeah, he certainly did. Played it safe there. And unfortunately, you know, he'll end up with a 0 for his second run, but still sitting on a 90.3. I imagine that'll get him into top 32 later today.
I feel like that top 32, that's going to be a very tight board to get into today. Lots of drivers that showed up here for round 1. So it's going to be a tight one as the lights are on. For Alexander Jagard in that beautiful Lexus, initiating in for his second run, sitting on that 79.3, doing a really clean job around that wall ride. Decent transition from 3, kind of washing out a bit wide to the inside clip, but holds it together for the next one as he does his final transition, dropping 2 tires, leaving the line a little bit, but overall, or is that an Infinity? Looks like a Lexus, but it might be an Infinity.
It's yeah, big Lexus,
That's a Lexus.
symbol right on the,
Okay.
right on the front.
Yes, the thing on the front.
It looks great though. I enjoy looking at it. Look at there, 87 on the board, moving him up into that 5th spot, just behind Dimitri. And here we go, Brandon Williams throwing that big car in, but looking good into clip 2. Small waiver, but holds on to it. Oh, and as I say that, taps the wall, straightens out a bit. Manages to grab that next transition though. He'll try and get as many points as he can out of this run. There he goes, finishing it off for run 2.
That wall tap though, that's going to hurt him for points.
Yeah, big time. I imagine it will be maybe a little less than that 76 that he had prior. So we'll have to wait and see what that cutoff point is going to be today. Yep, a 75 on the board. And we're back around to Luciano.
Luciano Canero heading out for his second run, sitting on that 82.7. Initiating in, good flick initiation, right to angle through clip 1. Beautifully done into the second outer zone. Holding that back bumper right up against the walls. He transitions into 3, and now for the inside clip. Nice and tight around it. We see him doing a pretty solid run here, just putting the car where it needs to go. But if I remember from last year, that's exactly what he was good at, as he finishes out his second run and we await his score.
Yeah, very smooth driver Luciano, and showing it here again today. But I'd have to say, I think he stepped it up maybe a little bit. Look at there, 87.7 on the board for run 2. And that'll put him in 5th position, and we're back around to Robert. Coming off the 88.3, throws that 370 in. Oh, and taps the wall there as he comes into clip 2. Good transition there for 3 though. And he'll work his way through the course on the correct line now after hitting that wall. And look at there, following that yellow line all the way around. Good finish for Robert, but unfortunately that wall hit is going to be big. And yeah, it looks like judges are actually going to give him a 0 and deem it unchaseable.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but another second run that was just flat out. Let's see how good we can do, as we have Cormac almost missing out on that first outside clip, trying to make it work now for the second. Maybe tune didn't load, or the car's just not happy with him right now, as he tries to make it around, gets through the inside clip nicely, and the car's starting to settle out now as he comes through that final outside zone. Really pushing it hard, trying to increase his points off that 75.
Yeah, big mistake in that first corner there for clip 1. Just barely getting into that zone. Yeah, and there it is, a 64 for run 2. So again, we'll have to wait and see where that cutoff is today. Last season, 85, 87 is what it took to get in. Here's Dimitri with an 88. Throwing that super in, and look at there. Filling that zone all the way, and nice snappy transition into clip 2. Catches the wall just a little bit, but keeps it going nicely. Good transition there on the right line. Filling that next zone as well. And again, the snappy transitions from the super here looking great. And across the finish line for run 2.
Dimitri hoping to improve that score.
And coming up just short, 85.7 for Dimitri on his second run.
Well, now we move to the last driver of Group 1, Yaroslav Tresh, sitting on that 89, initiating in right on that yellow line. Looking beautiful so far in that Everstake S15. Putting the rear wing right over the wall, keeping it nice and tidy. Transitions through 3 and now into that inside clip. Pushing hard is Yaroslav as we see him transition for the final time here of Group 1. finish out his run.
Whew. Another good run from Tresh there. I wonder if that's going to be enough to better the 89. He did fix his line there through clip 4 in that inside clip. And there it is, 85. So coming up just shy of the 89. But overall, he's sitting in second place right now, just behind Ericas with his 90.3. And we're done for Group 1. So we'll take just a short break, and we'll be right back with some more drifting. All right, and we're quickly back for Group 2 of qualifying. Again, with me as always is Tanner. And we've got some crazy good runs out of Group 1. Erica's coming out with a 90.3. And Tresh right behind me with an 89. Robert, 88.3. Dimitri Mitten, 88. Luciano Carnero, 87.7. Alexander Yegard, 87. Brandon Williams with his 76. And Cormac Gard with his 75.
Really setting the bar high was Group 1, so let's see what the rest of the groups can do. And another returning driver, Abdulaziz Al Harbi. Great to see him in this S chassis. We'll wait to see his first run of Season 6, the Virtual Drift Championship. Powered by Next Level Racing. Man, it sounds good to say that. And the lights flash, and off he goes for his first run. Makes the drive down into turn 1, or into outer zone 1. Getting on it good, transitions onto the wall, little stutter onto the wall, but keeps it clean. He transitions now through 3, little bit of a late transition, but keeping it through that inside clip. Grabbing the last outer zone now, trying to keep it on that yellow line, fading away from it just a bit, but the first run not too shabby there from Abdulaziz.
Yeah, not a bad start at all for him. Looking good in his new S chassis. And at 84.7 on the board, and he'll work himself into that current top 8. And here we go with Adriel Mercado. And throwing that car in. Big decel there into the first outside zone, but he does fill it. Coming into outside zone 2 along this wall, staying deep there. And following that line nicely, does make his transition just a little late, has to drive down. Does end up catching that inside clip. And there he goes, going all the way to the edge, even dropping just a little bit of a tire along that backside. So we'll wait and see what the judges put up on the board for him with those minor mistakes there. Yep, 75 on the board for Adriel. But he's got another run to go.
Well, yeah, lots of room still left for Adriel to make up there for in the second run. As we have Andreas now, Andreas Lene, in that beautiful Supra of his, initiating in, doing well through the first outside clip. Now to get it up on that wall, fading away from the wall, could be a little closer. We see him transition now through 3 and grab that inside clip. Not too shabby through there as he comes into that final transition now. Putting it on the yellow line. Can he do it? Nah, still a little too shallow, leaving some room for his second run, but not an overall bad first run.
Yeah, not a bad way to start the season out. And look at there, 84 on the board for Andreas. And again, he still has another run as well. We'll have to see if he steps things up. But that'll work him into the current top 8. And here we go, Shoma Takaya, another returning driver. And filling that outside zone 1 nicely. And along that wall here in this small little 180. Looking good though, good transition. A nice line along that inside clip and filling the next outside zone. And there he goes, riding that yellow line. Just what the judges want to see. I think a decent score to come for Shoma. Could have been maybe a little deeper on outside zone 1, but overall, good line, decent angle, and a little bit of impact on that last turn there. 87 on the board for Shoma Takaya.
Very good run there from Shoma, and 87 is a good thing to have this early on. We move over to a fellow Canadian, Stephen Hatcher, and previous winner of a VDC championship. Really putting it all out there on that first outside zone. Huge snap to angle into outer zone 2 to get it up on the wall. Riding it all the way around. Stephen really not leaving anything for chance, but going way too wide and missing out on the inside clip. Transitions one last time, tries to keep it on that yellow line, can't really make it, but still gets across and finishes out his run.
And just blasting off too as well.
That new rotary of his, man, that's a screamer.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll wait and see what that score is going to be for Stephen. Very impactful, but as you pointed out, he did go a little wide there. 84.3 on the board for Stephen Hatcher. Here we go, Abdul Al-Shetwi. New driver here, coming out of the wild card event and looking good here in the clip 2. And this wall ride, look at there, stuffing the bumper just a little bit into that wall. Good timing on the transition, picks up that inside clip and fills outside zone 3. And across the finish line he goes. Al-Shetwi looking nice here for his first run in the series.
And an 89.7 for Abdul. What a first run from him, as we already have our next car going down the track. William Holloway. That beautiful BMW filling outer zone 1, but bouncing off the wall at 2. That is really going to hurt his score. I didn't see him go into opposite lock, so he might still be okay. But we know how harsh our judges can be. But he's doing a beautiful run. Let's hope that wall hit does not affect his run. We'll see what they say.
Yeah, I mean, he did an okay job keeping it together and keeping the run going, but yeah, 0 on the board for William Holloway in his first run here at Tocancipa. But we've got Victor Alves, another returning driver and a winner of our Hard Charger Award last season. And here he goes, throwing his new S15 in. Looking good into clip 2 here. Staying along that wall. Great line there, leaving it. Good timing on the transition. Look at there, picking up that inside clip. It all just flows nicely when you get the timing right. And look at that, following that yellow line for that last and final outside zone. And we'll wait and see what the judges say about that one.
Yeah, very clean run from Victor there.
And there it is, 85.3 for Victor Alves's first run.
And a very well-earned 85.3 as we're back around to the top of Group 2 with Abdulaziz Al-Harbi in that S15. Good flick initiation. Tries to get it as deep as he can, but doesn't fill the entire thing as he puts it onto the wall and nicks it just a little bit, but stays on that throttle to keep it in drift. As we see him transition now into that inside clip, doing well and filling it fully. Now one transition to go for his final run of qualifying. Missing out on that yellow line just a little bit, but we'll see what his score says, sitting on that 84.7.
Yeah, driving away from that yellow line, dictating that outside zone is going to be a big deduction there. And there it is, 74 on the board. And we're back around to Adriel trying to better this 75. And he's entering in. Again, a little shallow on that first outside zone, but look at there. I think he even gave the wall a couple of taps as he came into it, picked up throttle on time. Again, a little late there on that outside zone. Has to decel there just after the transition and a big snap into the last outside zone. And there he goes, finishing out his second run here in round 1.
Getting quite a few more mistakes there from Adriel, and that's unlike him. So maybe it's just first run nerves, maybe a tune didn't load.
And a 76.7 on the board.
Well, let's hope that's enough for him to make it into the top 32, as Andreas Linné now, sitting on that 84, is going for his second run. Lots of angle coming into outer zone 2 for that wall ride. Again, not as deep as he could be putting that Supra, but makes it work on the transition, getting a little closer to the inside clip that time around. So good to see him working on it as he drops a tire there for that final outer zone, but makes up for it near the end. Will it better his 84 though?
It's going to be tough. It'll be close here.
All right, and Andreas finishing out that run with an 81.3. So we have Shoma Takaya now initiating in with a very aggressive initiation, right to angle. Again, another driver just going full send on his second run, putting it nicely on the wall, not quite stuffing the rear bumper in, but just putting it nicely there as he grabs that inside clip beautifully, filling out the next outer zone, and just having a lot of fun with this second and last run of his qualifying as we see him finishing out his run. And the points are starting to come in there for Shoma's second run, and it's looking good. And an 89 comes in for Shoma Takaya for his second run, beating his 87 from his first run. It's very good there as we move back around to Stephen Hatcher, coming in for his second run, sitting on that 84.3. Did a great job the last one, filling that first outer zone with tons of speed coming into the second outer zone, like a rocket ship with that limiter bashing rotary engine, clearing the next two clips beautifully, but going a tad bit wide for the inside clip, grabbing clip number 5 and now into 6, putting it on that yellow line and limiter bashing that rotary motor is Stephen Hatcher. But will he better that 84.3? That is the question. And he does with an 87 on the board. Very good job there and a very clean second run from Steven as we move on 2, Abdul. New wildcard driver here, filling out that outer zone 1 beautifully, doing a great job in outer zone 2, sitting on that 89.7. He could definitely take that first place spot. Oh, but a little too shallow there off of the inside clip, but makes the adjustments needed and really finishes out this run strong. What a run that was from Abdul. For his first time out here, I give this man credit, as that is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, and putting himself up high, too, with the 89.7 already, and then an 88 on the board for Al Shetwi. And we're on to William Holloway and his BMW, throwing that thing in and filling the first outside zone nicely. Maybe a little bit of lag there from him. But overall, smooth line, good transition there for clip 3. Flying around clip 4. And then filling clip 5. The line here that he is running in this BMW is great. A little shallow there for the last outside zone. But overall, good run coming off that 0 with the pressure on. And an 81.3 for William Holloway.
That's a good score to come off of that 0 on as we go to our last run of Group 2. Victor Alves in that beautiful S15 doing a great job through the first outer zone, moving his way into the second for that wall ride, sitting on an 85.3. He's going to want to increase that maybe just a little bit more as he does wonders around that inside clip. Really pushing is Victor as we see him go right up onto that yellow line. Good angle, a little thumbs up out the window as he finishes out his final qualifying run.
Feel like that's his signature move now. Well, yeah, trying to better that 85.3. And look at there, 90 on the board, so he'll end up just under Erikas Jerkis with his 90.3. But overall, sitting in second place, and that's going to do it for Group 2. I'll take a look there. Ooh, we need to get a little update there for our graphics, but there's your top 8. Erikas Jerkis, Victor Alves, and Abdul Raham Al Shedwi sitting in that first, second, and third. So we'll load in Group 3, take another short break, and we'll be right back. All right, and welcome back for Group 3 of the first round of the Virtual Drift Championship powered by Next Level Racing. This is Season 6, brand new season, and we're excited here. A lot of good runs today so far in these first 2 groups, and there's your top 8. Erica's sitting on that 90.3. Victor with his 90. Shetwe 89.7. Tresh 89. These rookie drivers just coming out swinging here and putting themselves in this quick top 8. Dimitri Mitten in there as well with his 88. And Luciano Carnero rounding out the current top 8 with the 87.7.
At Group 2, they were shelling out big time, really going for it and setting another high bar. And again, that's just what it's going to be all season. It's going to be these guys putting 100% into every single run they do. And I don't blame them. I mean, the level of competition this year is just insanely high.
It sure is, and this new class of drivers only adding to it. Coming out of Sujigiri, our official feeder series, in our wild card event that we ran. Gave 5 drivers their license. And so far, the ones that have gone have done really well out of that wild card. Hear from the judges there, bringing the cars to the line. I believe Roman Kondratinka will start us off. Pro driver out in Belarus champion.
Yes, now the champion. Something we got to witness firsthand, which was really sweet. And that was nice of them to have us there, as we got Roman Kondratinka at the line in that beautiful Ferrari. Something you don't see every day in drifting, but where there's a will, there's a way. As we see him initiate in, beautiful through clip 1. Now he goes for the wall ride on that nicely, quietly tamed Ferrari as well. It's not very loud. So we see him ride that wall perfectly in a good transition, good through the inner clip, very little adjustment as we see him do one last transition, just put it right on the edge of that yellow line and finish out his first run, and a strong first run for Ron.
I was gonna say, holy smokes here with a brand new car, that Ferrari, and looking good for his first run. Oh, it shocked me a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait and see what that score is going to be. Big car to be driving through this relatively small course. And look at there, 91.3. He takes the #1 spot quickly. And we're off to Austin Zalewski. Great looking A90 Super here, throwing that thing in and filling the first outside zone. Very nice into clip 2 along this wall. Hanging onto it wide. Good timing on his transition as well. Great line from Austin here. Could have been a little deeper there for clip 5. Looking good for the last and final outside zone and across that finish line for his first run. Again here in the Virtual Drift Championship. And an 87 on the board for Austin.
Not a bad start from Austin. And now the man who went viral this year, Reese Tatterson, for the Pro Drift Academy, the first Pro Drift Academy car we're going to see today. We see him transition into outer zone 2. Doing a good job. A man who's definitely probably sitting on a high note right now. Maybe wants to chase down for his first Virtual Drift Championship title as a quick transition into that last outer zone. What a beautiful run this has been from Reese. An amazing driver and showing why he has the talent he has and why he's here.
Yeah, absolutely. Super aggressive into that last and final outside zone. Maybe didn't get all the way onto that yellow line, but nonetheless, a great line and showed a lot of aggression there through that transition, the way he threw that car into that last and final outside zone. Waiting on that score. It's going to be a big score, I imagine. Great line throughout. And I'm going to say we'll have to check and make sure that is the right score for Reese Tatterson.
Yeah, a little shock there. Sorry about that, guys, as we looked at that. Mateus Nordegen going for his run. Good to see you back, Mateus. We were just a little Stammered on that there for a second. Overall, looking at his run in the Pixel Esports S14, not too shabby.
Yeah, not a bad run for Matthias there to start things out. The 71 for Matthias. On to Darius Ostraka. Our first car here from the Urta team. Team of 4 of them, all in these yellow BMWs, looking great. Fun livery and looking good here in clip 2 along this wall. Great line as well. Snappy transition. Drives down to that inside clip. Small, tiny little waiver there. Gets into clip 5 just a little bit late, but look at there, staying all the way out on the outside of that last and final outside zone and finishing it out strong.
And an 89.3 there for Darius, so very good run from him. As we move on to a person who's running a more unique car, Jordan El Nasser in the Dodge Viper. So we see him get through outer zone 1, not as deep as he could have been, and same in outer zone 2, leaving a lot on the table there for that big Viper as he makes his transition down into the inner clip, trying to get it all to work together, dropping a little bit of tire there on the outer zone, and now dropping even more tire on the final outer zone. Really just kind of working his way around the track, really having to fight that car.
Yeah, he certainly did a little bit, coming out swinging for his first run. But unfortunately, is going to probably come up a little short with the score there. 77 for his first run. And we're on to Darren Baker, another rookie driver here. Throwing his GTR in. A great, fantastic looking GTR this car is. And look at there, scraping the wall a little bit. I think I saw some sparks back there. Good line leaving the wall. Good transition. Drives down to that inside clip. Coming up just a tad shallow for clip 5, but looking good for 6. Drives off the yellow line just a little bit there. Crosses the finish line for a good start to the season.
An 88.3 for Darren Baker. What a good first run for that rookie driver. As not so rookie now is Marcus Lindquist in that Hot Boy 240 SX. Sending it hard into outer zone 1, putting it right on the wall for outer zone 2, making his transition. Good to see him still rocking the Hot Boy 240. This thing hasn't changed in a few years, maybe just some textural updates. Still looking great out there as we see him finishing out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, a lot of style in that car. I think this is his 3rd season in that car as well. Sticking to it and, you know, maybe paying off here. Yeah, absolutely. 87 on the board. I'd say it works. Back to Rahman here. Again, in that Ferrari. And throwing it in once again. This time coming up just a little shallow for clip 1. But great into clip through all the way along that wall. Fantastic line leaving. Almost a little late on the transition there, but manages to pick up that inside clip anyway. And another good final transition there to finish out the course. Rahman putting on a show today. 86 on the board for Rahman.
Yeah, so not quite as a 91.3, but it's a good score if someone decides to tie him, as we have Austin Zawiski here in that JZA 90 Supra, really making good work in the first 2 clips, riding that wall all the way around, transitioning now into outer zone 3 and diving for that inside clip and doing a beautiful job doing it, filling all of outer zone, all of the outer zone and into the final outer zone, doing a good job sitting on that 87 and wanting to improve it is Austin.
Yeah, he might just do that with that run. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, 87, a strong score, but look at there, 92, putting himself into the #1 position. And we're back to Reese Tatterson where, yeah, I guess that 78 is going to be his first run score. But look at here, throwing that car in, filling that first outside zone, and smooth into clip 2. Oh, goes a little deep. Reese has to make a correction. Grabbing the inside clip, deep into clip 5. And he's going to finish it out strong along that yellow line for that last and final outside zone.
Well, that was definitely better than a 78.
It's going to be tough with that massive correction there, but look at there. 81.3, a better score for Reese. We hope to see him in the top 32 later.
Now we have Mateus Nordingen in that Pixel Esports S14 sitting on that 71, going nice and deep into outer zone 1. And now they're not frazzled. We can pay full attention to his run as he comes through outer zone 2, just having a nice arc, not going too deep or wanting to risk anything as he transitions into that inside clip, doing a beautiful job doing so, grabbing the second to last outer zone, and now in the last one, just putting a good line down, not going too deep or too aggressive, just trying to get those points on the board and increase his 71.
I think that is going to be more than the 71, but it will be close. I have to wait and see if it's going to be enough. Look at there, 77.7. I have to wait and see if that, again, is going to be enough to put him into to the top 32. We're back around to Darius Ostraka throwing that car in there, holding that outside line, maybe just a little long, but manages to make that transition work. Following that wall, and down into the inside clip nicely here. Again, these smooth lines just over and over from these drivers here. And look at there, across that yellow line. And finishing it out for his second run, trying to better the 89.3. Another super close run.
And he manages to do so. Darius getting a 90.3, matching Ericus. So that'll be good for him as we move back around to Jordan El Nasser now, trying to improve his 77. Can he do it? Whoa! Hitting that wall hard, going into opposite lock, and sadly earning him a 0 for this run as he's just going to finish it out here. He didn't feel that he got that 0 and gets a little bit of extra practice time in case that 77 does get him into the top 32.
And yeah, here we go, back to Darren Baker here, having a little difficulty with that graphic. We'll get it fixed though. Darren flying down into clip 2 and looking great, hanging on to that wall all the way around it. Good timing on the transition, and another smooth line for Darren Baker here in this big GTR. Does drive off that last and final outside zone just a little bit, but overall, good run from Darren.
As we have our final run here of Group 3, and there's only 8 groups today, so we're going through this fast and quick, so make sure you're paying attention. Marcus Lindquist sitting on an 87, making his final run here for Group 3, sending it into that first outer zone, filling it nicely as he makes the transition into outer zone 2, tries to get it into the wall, bounces off of it just a little bit as he transitions through 3 and into that inside clip, making short work of it and doing so nicely as we see him transition into this final outer zone and beautifully on that yellow line and across the line, hoping to beat his 87.
Yeah, he might just do that with that run. Really good from Marcus there.
And alrighty, so that will do it up here for Group 3. And Group 3 having a new leader, Austin Zaweski. with that 92, that shout out of a 92 run. What an amazing run that is. A few others moving into spots, with Raman Katastrenka moving into spot number 2, pushing Erikas down into spot number 3. And that will do it here for group number 3. We're just going to take a short break here as we load in the next group, and we'll be right back with more drifting at the Virtual Drift Championship Season 6 Round 1 at Tocancipa racetrack.
Right, and we are back for Group 4 of qualifying. Hopefully our graphics are fixed now and good to go. Look at there, now it says Group 4. No white box down there for whatever reason.
Round 1 things. It just happens every round.
Know.
Can't go flawless.
Well, you'd hope for it, but, that never happens. But yeah, a strong top 8 to start things out here in these 3 groups of drivers. And the rookies, again, coming out swinging. With a rookie up top right now in the number 1 position with that 92, Austin Zalewski. And right behind him, Raman Katastrenka, the king of Belarus, champion of Belarus. And Erikas Jurkas in that 3rd place with a 90.3. But we've got Artem at the line in his 2J-powered Mustang here. And throwing that thing in. And look at there, filling outside zone 1. And a smooth transition down into this wall ride. Great line, leaving it. And a nice transition as well, grabbing that only inside clip, filling the next outside zone. And good timing once again on the transition there to keep him on that yellow line and finish out his first run of the day.
Yeah, very good run from Artem for his first time out. And an 86 for Artem Makushenko. So very good starting run for him. As we have Tikhon Pileski now in that fresh S14. Or S14. That would be him as he makes his way off the line and down to turn 1. That first outer zone. And doing it nice and filling it fully as we move into outer zone 2. Putting the back bumper right up against the wall. Doing what Tikhon Pileski does best. As a previous VDC winner as well, he knows what it takes to win championships, and he's proving it here in this first run of qualifying. Really making short work of this awesome racetrack.
Yeah, doing a good job here for his first round. It's awesome to see him get some actual support, this time from that fresh auto We'll wait and see what the judges say for that. And look at there, number 1 position, Tikhon Pileski with a 93 on the board. And we move along to rookie driver Logan Daniels in his S15. Good through clip 1 here, and a smooth transition. Following up Tikhon nicely here. Another good timing on that transition. And he's going to fill the next outside zone as well. He stick along to that yellow line, does a pretty good job there, and finishes out his first run of the new season.
And Logan Daniels there with an 89.3. Really showing what he can do as we move over to Connor Christensen. Connor sending it in that beautiful S14 of his. Putting it right up against the wall and just holding it there. Ooh, really stuffing it deep near the exit as he goes to the transition now to line up for that inside clip, and doing so beautifully as he grabs the next outer zone and transitions one last time, putting it right on the line. Has a good arc through that last outer zone and finishes out his run.
Yeah, not too bad from Connor. Again, these rookies just coming out swinging, putting down really solid runs here in their first time in the series. 87 on the board for Connor Christensen. And then right back to another returning driver, Oliver Eppinger. Again in his Supra. Looking good through outside zone 1. Could be a little deeper, but makes a good transition into this wall ride. And stays along that white line. Very nice. Good transition. The driver's just making light work of that inside clip today. It falls a little short for the last and final outside zone, but he'll finish it out. I imagine it'll be a pretty decent score for his first run.
Good to see Oliver back here. I know some of his teammates were cheering him on in the chat very early on, saying if he doesn't win, well, it's a ban. Well, let's hope he gets there with an 85.7. As we move on to Gage Salutis. Good to see him back in a new livery for this year, but looks like the same cars. He's a little shallow into that first outer zone, but trying to make it work into 2, maybe bouncing off the wall just a little bit on entry. Having to make a small correction, but now starting to button it up. So we see him come through that inside clip, pushing deep into the next outside zone and holding it nicely. Could have been just a tad different on his line, but making it work. We'll see what he puts down on the table.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to hold that last and final outside zone there along that yellow line. You really got to do it with the tune of your car, the angle that you set to, and the timing of that transition. But look at there, 80 on the board for Cages, and we're on to Iona. Another returning driver, this time in an E46, after being in that giant BMW from last season that he did well in, and looking good here coming into the second outside zone. Holding on to that wall nicely. Again, good timing there, grabbing the inside clip. Could be a little deeper there for clip 5. Ooh, and dropping just 1 tire off the back end of that course in the last and final outside zone. So small deduction coming there from that minor mistake. And at 82, so not too bad for Iona.
Yeah, not a bad run at all to start things off. Now we have our final driver of Group 4, Russell Jones. Great to see him back out here for a returning season. Dropping that tire on the entry, but makes it work and fills the zone beautifully. Gets into outer zone 2. This man has been pushing hard and wanting to fight for that championship all throughout last year and this year. We'll see how he does in Season 6. As he transitions for the final time for his first run of qualifying and making it look sharp as he crosses that line.
Yeah, pretty good from the veteran excellence team driver there. Coming from Live for Speed, old school drivers. Been around for a long time, and here he is in the Virtual Drift Championship, and a 79 for his first run. We're bringing Artem back to the line with his 2J powered Mustang. And throwing that thing in, coming off at 86 and trying to better it here. Looking really smooth in outside zone 2 along that wall. Snappy transition there, grabs the next inside clip. All the way out there to the edge. Does make his transition just a little soon there. Getting to the outside a little soon, driving off that yellow line, but overall, good once again from Artem. And a 92, so that's going to move him into that third position with Austin Zalewski.
Yeah, what a great run there from Artem. Yes, Artem. Awesome run as we have T-Con sitting on top of that 93 right now and pushing again on his second run. Really putting it deep into the wall with that S14. He's got to make 2 more transitions and make them work beautiful through that inside clip. Filling the outside as well. One last one to go as he rides that yellow line perfectly all the way through. What a show of a run from T-Con.
Yeah, already sitting in the #1 position and still out here trying to better that run. Currently sitting on a 93. We'll wait and see from those judges. And a 94 betters it by 1 point and stays in that #1 position. We're back around to Logan Daniels for his second run, trying to better the 89.3 that he currently has. And going for it once again in that turn 1. And look at there, stuffing the bumper into the wall. Great line. But again, goes just a little wide as I say that for clip 1. Ooh, and drops the tire out the back end of the course in that last and final outside zone. Really going for it. But again, small deductions to come. We'll have to see if that's going to better the 89.3. I don't think it is with that tire drop. But overall, solid score. And he might use it for a tiebreaker. 83 on the board.
As we're back around now to Connor Christensen sitting on that 87. Already a high score, but wants to get up even higher. Beautiful through the first outside clip. Let's see how he does through turn 2. Bosh in the wall. But keeping on it and not going in the opposite lock, keeping it in drift as he goes through the next outer zone and the inside clip, putting him nicely for the second to last outer zone as we see him coming through the last now. Doing a not too bad of a run there. Will it be enough to beat his 87 though?
Yeah, it's going to come close there with those minor corrections. Yeah, 77.7, so lucky 7. So, you know, maybe that'll be enough to put him on into top 32. But here we go with Oliver returning in his Supra, I believe for the 3rd season here. And throwing that thing into outside zone 2. Riding that wall nicely. And grabbing that only inside clip. All the way out there to clip 5. There he is, finishing it out with the underglows on. And I'll have to say, I mean, people are bringing back the underglows, but I'm about it. I like it.
I mean, hey, we had the kings of underglow themselves, Street Glow, re-bring out their actual neon kits this year. So, I mean,
true.
Do I want them? Yes. Do I need them? No, but I still want them.
And 88 for Oliver, so not too bad.
Good run there. Sitting on an 80, though, is this man, Cages Salunas, for his final qualifying run. A little bit of a better initiation there into that first outer zone, but bashing into that outer zone 2 wall. Holding it together, though, didn't look like he went into opposite lock or lost drift, as he's really wide now for the inside clip. Really threw him off his whole line and his run as he just tries to make do with what's given to him and finishes out for his final qualifying run.
Ooh, and it does look like he is unfortunately going to get a 0 on that second run. go with Yuna coming off the 82. Looking to better that score. Make it a little more comfortable getting into that top 32. Better in this 82 here. Good transition. Coming up just a little bit short there for outside zone 4 as well as 5. So it'll be close to see if that is going to be enough to beat his current 82.
And an 87.3 for Yuna Warninen, beating that 82. Another man that has to increase his score is this man here, Russell Jones, sitting on a 79, trying to get it through that first outside zone, but really struggling with it as he comes into the second outer zone, starting to get the power down now and be able to keep maneuvering his way through this course. A little shallow for the inside clip. Russell, come on, let's button this up for the last 2 zones. Dropping that tire, maybe 2, as he comes through that final outer zone and brings it home for the final run of Group 4.
You cursed him, Tanner.
I'm sorry, Russell. Don't blame me.
It wasn't bad overall, though, but the tire drop there into that last outside zone is going to be what does it, 75.3. But that's our last and final driver of Group 4. So another quick break, and we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, we are back live again for the next group of qualifying Group 5, moving on along. And we've got Tikhon Pileski, previous season champion, up in first place right now with that 94.
Yeah, what a run that was. That was something, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Judges really looking for precision driving today, and the timing on the transitions, especially at, leaving that first outside zone, not following that yellow line all the way down, leaving it when that zone ends, and making your transition into clip 2, and then leaving clip 2 and transitioning across clip 3. That timing is so important from these judges today. They're really looking for it. You've got Tobias Thermosin coming to the line in a brand new Corvette.
Another Corvette out. Don't see these too often anymore, so it's nice to see Tobias rocking this as he starts off the first run of Group 5 for qualifying. Tobias Thermosin initiating in with a very subtle entry. Trying to get it right up onto that wall, but goes into it just like he did on his practice run not moments ago before we went back to being live. That'll be a 0 there for Tobias's first run.
Yeah, unfortunate to see there from his first run of the day. It looks like he's got that thing super soft with his suspension setup. We'll see if he can put down a score later on, but we're moving on to Dan Dirks for his first run of the day. Another returning driver ended up putting the VDC banner on his actual car as well as the name box. I'd say it was one of the coolest things I think I've seen in a while, but doing good here in his first run. Does go wide there for that only inside clip, grabs the next outside zone. Ooh, and dropping a tire off that back edge in that last and final outside zone. He'll put some points on the board.
Just small things to button up for the next run. As he got a 73 in total for Dan Dirks. So definitely going to need to improve. As we have Mustafa. Another new driver here in the Virtual Drift Championship. Really going hard into that first outer zone, and his snappy transition to outer zone 2, riding that wall all the way around Mustafa. Holy man. Going hard here as he transitions into that final outer zone, holding a good arc through it, and really just putting his foot to the floor and refusing to lift.
Yeah, absolutely a strong run there from Mustafa. We'll have to thank him as well. The little slow motion clips that we're playing just a moment ago were from Mustafa, so big thanks to him for giving us a better intermission screen. Oh no, the graphic went away before we got his score. We'll get it from those judges.
I have it here.
Oh, and a big 9-0 on the board. Good run from Mustafa to start things out for himself, and we're moving on to Pontus, our other rotary driver, and he goes wide for that first outside zone. Tentative coming into outside zone 2 as well, as he had to get himself back on the right line. He's on it now and looking good in the back half of this course. I imagine big deductions coming from that entry that Pontus had just moments ago. We'll wait and see from those judges, but again, he still has another run, and we certainly know he is capable to put down a strong score, and a 78 on the board for Pontus.
Yeah, very unlike Pontus too to be shaken up in first round of quali, but another returning driver, Ethan Pikachu. We will always call him that as we see him come into outer zone 2, holding that nice line around that wall. The transition done and into the inside clip, getting through the next outer zone clean as he makes that last transition. Drops some tires though as he comes through that final outer zone to finish out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, not too bad, and again returning in that car and looking all right there for his first run. We'll wait and see from those judges. And at 81 on the board for Ethan. Here we go with Oliver from Canada here. Another rookie driver. Throwing that S14 in and looking good through turn 1. Little tentative, drives off the wall big time, works himself back out, but does give the wall a tap there and leaves the outside zone early. It's going to throw him wide there for inside clip. Last and final transition, big and snappy, trying to make up some of those points.
Fireballs for days.
Yeah, big ones. And a 72.3 on the board for Oliver, and we're on to Brandon Patrick.
Yeah, Brandon Patrick, another driver in that Ferrari. So kind of cool to see two of them out here, as we'll see if he can drive it better than Roman. As we see him went through outside zone 1 and 2 now, getting through them cleanly. Not too shabby either, as he grabs that inside clip. And the outer zone could have been a bit deeper into that second to last outer zone. Riding that line all the way around the final outer clip and crossing the line to finish out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, and looking good in the virtual Fiorella, and actual support from FFF, their virtual teammate now. Brandon Patrick looking good in the Ferrari, 86.7 on the board for himself as well. And here we go with Zach O'Sullivan, our returning rookie of the year from last season. And looking good through the first outside zone snap into outside zone 2. Staying along that wall nicely. In that zone on time, good transition. Nice timing there to pick up that inside clip and fills the next outside zone as well. Throws it into the last final one, and across the line he goes for run 2. Or excuse me, run 1.
The run was so good it messed his brain up.
It did, it broke me. And a 90.7. A great run from Zach there.
As we're back around to the top of Group 5, Tobias Thormodsen in his Corvette sitting on a 0. This run means everything. Misses outer zone 1 on the initiation, grabs a handful of handbrake, and still can't get that Corvette to cooperate properly through outer zone 2. Really missing out on outer zone 3, grabbing inside clip and pushing out for the second to last outer zone. Now one last zone to go. Oh, this is going to be a tough one for the judges, or a really low score for Tobias.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, doing okay with the pressure on, coming off that 0 in his first run. And there it is, a 67.7 for Tobias. And we're on to Dan Dirks in his second run of the day. Slow through that chicane and on throttle. Throwing that car in, trying to get all the way out there. Doesn't quite fill outside zone 1. Smooth into outside zone 2. A little off the wall, but works himself out there wide. Good transition for clip 3 and grabs 4. Working himself onto that right line, but comes up short just a little bit. And shallow in that last and final outside zone, so we'll wait and see from those judges what that score is going to be. I think it will better that 73 that he currently has, though.
It should hopefully beat that, and it does. With a 78 on the board, so a 73 and a 78 for Dan Dirks. Hopefully that'll be enough for him. Next up, sitting on a 90, Mustafa Amine, ready to shout out on his second run. Let's see if he can do any better, but looking at that first, holy man, he is just going flat out as he went through outer zone 1 and 2. Not a mistake to be seen as he brings it through inside clip 1. Look at this run that Mustafa is putting on for all of us for his second qualifier. Could that beat his 90 that he sits on?
Yeah, going bonkers there for his second run, getting a 90 on the first. And he was worried about the event when I was talking to him.
Woo!
Look at there. Shouldn't be worried too much as he moves himself into the #1 spot with a 94.7. Good job, Mustafa. And we're on to Pontus. See if he can top this. A hard run to follow, and then coming off that low score after going wide for clip 1, but he does good this time in his second run as he comes on down into this wall run. Smooth transition as he tries to drive down and get that inside clip, but doesn't quite get it. Last and final outside zone here. And looking good as he crosses that finish line.
Yeah, a little unusual for Pontus, having the car a little upset going into those first 2 outer zones. It's not quite like him. He normally has his cars pretty dialed in, so wonder what happened with him today. As we move already on to our next driver, Ethan sitting on that 81, and for clarification, Pontus with a 76 as we see Ethan go through that first outer zone. and really set up nicely for outer zone 2. Not super deep, but leaving enough room for error as he transitions into 3. Little wide there for the inside clip, but making a nice arc into the next outer zone as he goes through the final outer zone and finishes out his run, hoping to beat his 81.
And 87.3 for Ethan, so he does. He betters that score and moves himself on up within those rankings, and we're back around to Oliver. See if he can do any better on his second run. So far, so good into clip 1 and into clip 2. Following that wall nicely on the correct line there. Good transition across, and he'll pick up that inside clip. A lot better run here as he comes up just a little shallow for clip 5, but look at there, throws that car into the last and final outside zone and finishes it out strong.
There's a better run there from Oliver, and as a fellow Canadian, you can relax now. Qualifying's over. Go get a Timmy's. We have Brandon Patrick back in the Ferrari, sitting on that 86.7 and ready to hopefully improve that score. Good initiation through outer zone 1 and a great transition into outer zone 2, just letting the car hook up and settle onto that wall. As we see him transition just a tad late through 3 though, and judges aren't going to like that, but grabbing the inside clip and the next outer zone clean. Now putting it on the yellow line to bring it home for the finish for his final run of qualifying.
Yeah, I think Brandon did fantastic today. He actually just got done moving, so he didn't get his full rig set up and is playing on like a little tiny monitors that's sitting in front of him where he's used to triple screens. And look at there, he puts a 90.7 on the board. And we're on to Zach, our last and final driver of the group, coming off that 90.7. Looking good through the first outside zone. Clean in the outside zone too along this wall here. Another good transition from Zach. Oh, pouring on the angle, has to correct it just a little bit there as he over-rotates just a hair. Looking good into the last and final outside zone and finishes it out strong for a second run.
Will it be enough to beat that 90.7 though? And it does, just by a little bit, by 0.3 points, for a total of 91. Zach O'Sullivan with that 91, finishing out Group 5. That leaves us with 3 groups to go. We round things off here with Mustafa taking our new #1 spot in qualifying with that amazing 95-point run. Yeah, that was just an insane run. Oh, 94.7, excuse me. And what a great run from him. As I just kind of wait for our things to reset, I don't have as much tools as Craig does over there. There we go. And with T-Con Plesky now knocked down into that second position with that 94. And below him, Austin with that 92. And matching that 92 is Artem for the 4th place as well. Below him, Raman with that 91.3 to round off your top 5. And Zach just coming shy of 0.3 of that top 5 with the 91. And that will do it for Group 5 here. We're going to take another short break, and while we load up Group 6, and we'll be right back with more drifting and more action from the first round of the Season 6, the Virtual Drift Championship, powered by Next Level and presented by Tire Stacks and Grip Royal.
All right, and we're quickly back for our next group of qualifying here at the round 1 Autodromo de Tocancipa, and a beautiful track. Again, shout out to the creator for giving us permission to use this thing. And just untouched models and KM5s, just added our layout right onto it, so nothing fancy that we did to make it look any better. Just offered them, it looks great.
Yeah, everything right down to the texture surface even looks really good. It's a very well done track. But we are 5 groups down here in qualifying for the first round of the Virtual Drift Championships, and only 3 left to go. So we are very ever closing that gap and that number of what it will take to get into the top 32 for later on this afternoon. As we start our first group of Group 6, our first driver, Lukas Taziemski, in that beautiful BMW of his. Initiating in, a nice angle through outer zone 1, transitioning now into 2, holding it together for that wall ride. Being the first driver out is always nerve-wracking on any group. And get through that inside clip pretty clean, getting to the next outer zone and into the final one, riding that yellow line all the way around, bringing it home for the first run of Group 6.
Yeah, and looking fantastic, coming out of DCGP this season. Another rookie driver, and did well over at Drift Masters as well. And a 90.7 doing well here as he moves on into the top 8. And Brian Garcia is returning in his Aston Martin, throwing that car in, coming up a little short into outside zone 1, but smooth on down into the wall ride. Does leave it just a little bit, has to work himself out there. Late transition on clip 3. He somehow picks up that inside clip, but a deduction coming there in that portion of the course. But overall, pretty solid start for Brian Garcia.
Yeah, it's nice to see Brian, another tried and true, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Let's keep the Aston Martin. Great to see it. He gets an 84 on the board. As we move on to Know Your Eyes Are Not Deceiving You, this is Alan Hines in the Pro Drift Academy S15, partner of Reese Tatterson. You see him making his way through outside zone 1 and a clean transition into outer zone 2. Let's see if he can best his teammate here in qualifying as he gets through that inside clip beautifully. Putting on a great run for his first time back in the Virtual Drift Championship, finishing out his run for qualifying.
Yeah, looking strong as always, although he was struggling just a little bit there along that wall, giving it a couple of taps, had a couple of minor corrections, but held it together nicely and puts a 90 on the board. And we're on to acquire Bentley Mauricia, this time in an 880 Supra. Ooh, and throwing that thing on the outside, drops a little bit of tire over that yellow line, and it gets bumpy out there, as you can see. Leaves the wall just a little bit here in outside zone 2. Good transition in 3 though, and picks up that inside clip. So important with the timing. Does come up a little shy into outside zone 4 as well as 5, but finishes it out for his first run of the new season.
Not bad there from Quire Bentley, a 73.3 as we move on to Martin Marek. Martin in that S15 of his, it's an S14 with the S15 front end. Going clean, ooh, bashing off the wall a little bit there in outer zone 2. Now transitioning pretty late through outer zone 3, grabbing that inside clip though, and making his way through the next outer zone. 1 outer zone to go as he transitioned and puts it on the line. Overall, not a bad run there from Martin Marek.
Good way to start things out. He's always been, relatively quiet. He'll come out of nowhere and just put down crazy runs, make it into the top 32, and do pretty well for himself. And there's a 80.7 from Martin Marek, and we're on to Octavian Chelleroux, a V8 powered Supra here, coming up just a little bit shy of outside zone 1, but looking good into 2. And keeps it going here. Big angle before making his transition. And grabbing that inside clip all the way out there. Filling that next zone. And again, pouring on the angle before he makes those transitions. And he'll end up coming up a little bit shallow for that last and final outside zone as well.
Yeah, maybe the pressure's on with these drivers, and they're starting to realize that gap for the top 32 is ever closing. And an 84.3 for Octavian Chelleroux. Not a bad start as we have Brandon Gardner. That's a beautiful, beautiful purple car. Couldn't see what it was in there, so I'm not even going to call it out. Oh, this is the Infinity. I knew there was an Infinity as we see him come through that outer zone 2. And get through outer zone 3. A little shallow there for the inside clip, but makes it work for the following outer zone. Transitions one last time. Gets through the run clean.
And practicing a bit with Brandon. That car is absurdly fast. I don't know what he's doing in the background, but that thing is flying around this course. And an 84.7 on the board for Brandon. And we move on to Sean O'Dew. Another rookie driver throwing his BMW in nicely into outside zone 1 and smooth on down into outside zone 2 along this wall, staying all the way out there throughout the entirety of it. And good timing there, good line he's running through this course. And a smooth transition across. And he's going to finish out strong on the limiter there for his first run.
Sean there with an 82.3 to finish things off for the first set of runs. Now to move into the final qualifying runs for Group 6. As we wait for Lukas Taziemski to get to the line. Get there quicker. No, I'm joking. Take your time. We're in no rush. As lights go on, and Lukas takes off. On a 90.7 already. Can he top that? Initiating in. Good job through outer zone 1. Lukas on a tear here on his second run already as he comes and puts it beautifully on the wall. Really making that BMW move around this course. We see him grab that inside clip perfectly. Doing a great job here. Does he hold it together? He does. A little waver there as he comes through that final outside zone, but holds it together to finish it out. And we'll see what he gets for a score.
Yeah, another strong run for him there. Doing some extra tricks, you know, after the run. And a 91.3 on the board for Lukas. And we're back around to Brian Garcia in his Aston Martin. Throwing that car in, filling the first outside zone this time. And quick into outside zone 2. Burying that bumper within that wall. Nice transition here. Does have to make a small correction there to get that inside clip. Last and final one here, finishing it out for run 2, and that might be enough to better the 84. It will be close, but again, this time picking up that first outside zone.
Yeah, and with the current cutoff being that 84, you know, all these drivers are going to be pushing to make sure they make it in there. As we see Alan Hines sitting at the line. And ready to go. Alan Hines sitting on that 90. Can he better it? Can he knock Mustafa off the crown of the #1 qualifying spot? Good initiation and a crazy transition into outer zone 2. Making short work of those outside zones. Now diving for that inside clip. Doing beautifully around it. And through the second to last outer zone, Allen is just on a tear here. Sending it and taking it home for the Pro Drift Academy boys. We'll see if he improves.
Yeah, he just might with that aggressive run. Again, sitting on the 90. Look at there, a 95.3 for Alan Hines. That's going to put him in the #1 position, just above Mustafa. And we're going to quickly move on to Acquire Bentley Mauricia, throwing his super in, but coming up short of outside zone 1. And then Gonna put him on a weird line for outside zone 2. Has to work himself back out to the outside. He does a good job doing that. But again, deduction coming from that first section of the course. Nice and big transition for the last and final outside zone. And he'll finish out his second run.
Looks like, yeah, it's only a 74 there for Quire Bentley, so we will not see him in the top 32 as we move over to Martin Marek sitting on that 80.7. He needs to improve his score. See him come through that first outer zone nice and clean, getting it nice and on the wall for outer zone 2 with a good transition. See how he does into clip 3 here, a little hesitant, but making it through. Great through the inside clip. Martin needs to get these points in to advance on, dropping a little bit of tire through that final outside zone as he crosses the line and finishes up his qualifying.
Yeah, just barely a drop off that edge there in that last outside zone. Don't imagine it being a huge deduction, and there it is, 86.3 on the board for Martin Marek. Overall, pretty solid score for him, and we're on to Octavian Chelleroux, again, V8 powered. Super here. A little late leaving the gate there, but that's all right. He's down the straight and entering in big time there. Does come up just a little bit shallow, but not into outside zone 2 along that wall. Stays there the whole way around, and again, pouring on a ton of angle before he makes this transition there. And through outside zone 4 and into 5. There he goes across that finish line to finish things off for his second run.
85.7 for Octavian Chelleroux. Hopefully that will be enough to get him in, but I don't think it will be as we move on to Brandon Gardner now, sitting on that 84.7. The driver's going to have to improve that score to get into the top 32 for later on this afternoon. He'll go through that second outer zone, looking a lot cleaner this run. Not too many corrections coming through the inside clip and to the second to last outer zone. Snap transition into that last and final outer zone. Crossing the line, will it be enough?
Yeah, it's going to be close. And looking at these scores here, that 84.7, he was currently sitting in 32nd position. I know he certainly wants to better, and he does with a 90.3 on the board, and we're back around to Sean O'Dew quickly. Sitting on that 82.3, needs to better the score if he wants to make it into the top 32. Snap into the outside zone 2 and along the wall, has to work himself back out to the outside, almost hitting the wall, but then somewhat gets back on a better line, going just a little wide for inside clip. And there he goes, finishing out his second run of the day, trying to better that 82.3 to get on into the top 32, but it's going to be close with those minor mistakes throughout the whole course. And yeah, there it is, 76.7. So unfortunately, we'll see Sean O'Dew at round 2. That's going to do it for that group. Group 6, and we're going to move into Group 7 quickly. So again, just another break. We'll be right back with some more qualifying. Hello, and we're quickly back for Group 7 of qualifying here at the first round of Season 6 of the Virtual Drift Championship, now powered by Next Level Racing and sponsored by TireStacks.com and Grip Royal. Big scores today, especially from our rookies as well, but currently Alan Hines sitting first place with a 95.3, and Mustafa right behind him, rookie driver, 94.7. And then Tikhon Pileski chasing him with that 94. Round off the top three, and we're quickly going to bring Lizam to the line for his first run of the day.
Yeah, the first run of Group 7, Lizam going to start things out, and he now knows that an 84.7 is the score to beat to make sure you can hopefully secure your spot in the top 32. Now, that is an ever-changing score. The more people get in, the higher it goes up. 84.7 is the score right now, as we see Lizam with a crazy flick entry into that outer zone. Could have been a tad deeper, but making it work for his first run, playing it a bit safe, even on the wall ride of clip 2 in that JZA90 Supra. Making short work of the inside clip as well. One last transition to go, as we see him come through it now. Doing a very smooth job is Lizam Asau.
Yeah, Lizam looking good once again in that Supra that he brought out last year. We'll wait and see what the judges give him for his score today. Imagine it's going to be pretty solid. There it is, 88.3, so that'll work him on into the top 32 in the 20th position. And we're back around to Kazuki Fukushi. You love to see this guy back in this awesome Celica he has here, throwing it into outside zone 1. Transitions across the track there into clip 2, bumps the wall just a little bit, leaves the outside, and that's going to put him late on his transition. Has to choke up and grab that first inside clip, grabbing that next outside zone, and smooth rotation into last and final one. He does leave that outside line just a little bit there towards the back half of it, but overall pretty good for Kazuki Fukushi, and an 84.5 on the board.
Yeah, Kazuki's going to have to improve that score his next run around, as we have Daniel Mora in his BMW, ready to go for his first run. We see him initiate in, good flick initiation, not as deep in outer zone 1 as he could be, but making a good arc into outer zone 2 and holding it up against that line. As we see him transition now into that, whoa. One's not muted. As we see him transition into the final outside zone and cross the line.
Yeah, not too bad from Daniel Moore there to start things out for his first run of the season. Let's see if it's going to be enough to put him on into the top 32, though, with that high cutoff already. And it does, 85.7 for Daniel Moore. We'll have to wait and see if that holds up. We're on to Kevin Stump and his brand new car here.
I love this car.
400Z, yeah, it is awesome. Sounds great as well as he throws this thing in here. And smooth into outside zone 2 as well. Looking good so far in it. As he makes one more transition, grabs that next inside clip. Filling outside zone 4. Getting into 5 as well. Look at there. Great start to his season, Kevin Stump, in that 400Z.
What a beautiful car. I can't get over it. Yeah, Kevin Stump with an 87.3. Hopefully making his way up into the top 32 as we got Mark Pretty in this crazy wide-bodied Supra. Making his transition into outer zone 2, putting it up against the wall. Doing a nice job. Let's see how he transitions. Ooh, super late transition through clip 3, barely even making it, going really wide for the inside clip. Transitioning now into that final outer zone. Just trying to get that Supra across the line with hopefully some points on the board.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes through that run are going to show on his score here. And a 78.3, so he is going to fall shy of that cutoff point now at 86.3. So it's moved up a little bit higher. As we move on to our next driver here. Throwing it in and staying along that wall here. Good transition across. Last and final one for the last outside zone. Stays out there pretty wide all the way through and finishes it out for his first run.
Yeah, not too bad there from Bakaris. And he makes it with an 86.7, which I believe is going to push him up into the top 32 and make him the new bottom qualifier. As we have Yasir Saad bending it in that S14 of his, really putting the power down as he transitions into outer zone 2, slowly makes his way out to the edge of that wall. Transitions pretty late though through clip 3, in through the inside clip, nice and clean. And making it work now for the final 2 clips, putting it nice on the line and across the line to finish his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, Yasir looking fantastic there in the little S14. And look at that, 90.3 on the board. Put him up into a very good position to move on into the top 32. And here's Masashi Yoshida throwing this R33 in V8 powered. And looking fantastic here coming into outside zone 2. Runs that wall nicely. And kind of rolls through that transition, almost throwing him wide for that first inside clip. And it looks like he's going to finish out his run really well here for his first runs in the series. Again, another wildcard driver looking fantastic here, 85.7.
And almost made it to that cutoff. He's going to have to put a bit of work in for his second run to make it, though, as Lazam is now sitting on that 88.3, going to improve his score for this run. Already doing a really tidy job through outer zone 1, making his way through outer zone 2. Being a little more aggressive onto that wall, transitioning through 3, and grabbing that inside clip beautifully into the next outer zone, transitioning one last time, and doing a great job. Nice and calm. I like Lazam's driving. It's very smooth.
Yeah, it sure was. And coming off that 88.3, this might actually end up being a little bit better. Oh, it falls just a little bit short, 84. But overall, good score for himself as he still sits in that 21st position. And we're on to Kazuki Fukushi, 84.3. So he needs to better this to make it on into the top 32 as that new cutoff is 87. Throws that car into outside zone 2. Oh no, gets a piece of the wall. Straightens out just a little bit, has to make a big correction. He gets it together and keeps the run going, but I imagine that is going to be a pretty hefty deduction there from those judges, and it might just fall short of that 84.3. It does, 78 on the board. So unfortunately, Kazuki will not make it into that top 32 today, but we'll see him for round 2.
We sure will, as we got Daniel Mora sitting on an 85.7, another driver who has to improve. Not as aggressive into that first outer zone, making the transition and trying to make it work here through that second outer zone along that wall ride. Good transition through 3, putting it nice on that inside clip. Now just to bring her home and hopefully have enough points to qualify for top 32. It's Daniel Mora.
And it's going to be close. He's already so close with that 85.7, making it on in. But, ooh, an 81. So, again, Daniel is going to fall short as well. We move on along to Kevin Stump, 87.3. So, he's just above that cutoff. Throws that car in. Maybe he wants to better his run, as you still got a couple more drivers left in this group and one more group to go. But so far, looking good here in his second run. Grabs that inside clip, moving on along into that next outside zone. Nice and final transition. He stays on the outside line quite nicely. We'll wait and see if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, that's dangerously close to the danger zone there for Kevin Stump. So he does improve. An 89.7 for Kevin Stump. That'll bump him up a little higher. and hopefully keep him in the running for the top 32 as we move on to Mark Pretty. Mark Pretty highly in the danger zone on that 78.3, needs to improve, doing better through out of zone 1, and now making the transition through outer zone 2, riding that wall. Let's see how he does for the inside clip. Missing it completely is Mark Pretty as we see him transition one last time into that final outer zone, dropping a little bit of tire, holding it together. Can he do it? Will he make it into the top 32?
Yeah, it's going to be close. The 78.3 is definitely short, and then this run had its minor hiccups here and there throughout. And look at there, 88.7 from Mark Purdy. So that's going to push him on into the top 32, and we're on to Vicara's 86.7, so needs to better his run. Stakes are high now here in these last and final groups. Gives the wall just a little tap, but fantastic job to keep it going. Such a minor correction there. Filling that next outside zone, almost dropping over it. Can he stay out there? He certainly does. He finishes out his second run, again trying to make it on into that top 32. So close with that 86.7.
Very close, with now the current cutoff being 87. And making it in with an 88 is Vakaris Alakas. As we have Yasser Saad sitting on that 90.3. Great flick entry was Yasser. Beautiful transition into outer zone 2. Holding it right up against that wall. Transitioning now into that inner clip, holding it beautifully to it. Look at Yasser's run here. This is a very good run here from him. We have him cross the line there. Will he beat his 90.3?
And he certainly does, a 92 on the board, and we're on to our last and final driver of Group 7 with one more group to go. Masashi Yoshida throwing that R33 in and looking good through the first turn and into outside zone 2. Following along that outside line, great. Good transition, nice and smooth, grabs that inside clip. And the next outside zone as well, last and final one. Throws that car deep into the last outside zone and finishes out his run. Certainly needs to better that 85.7 as that is shy of the top 32. Needs to get an 87 or better, and look at there, a 90 on the board for Masashi. Again, another rookie driver and another wild card driver coming out swinging and putting down solid runs. And that's going to do it for Group 7. We've got about a half a group left to go in Group 8. And we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, and we are back for our last and final group of qualifying here at the Virtual Drift Championship, powered by Next Level Racing at the Autodromo de Tocancipa. Again, fantastic looking track.
Yeah, final group of qualifying already. Qualifying flew by this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending on where you're from. With our top qualifier right now, I believe, is Alan Hines.
Yeah, it certainly is. Still sitting on that 95.3. Mustafa right behind him with the 94.7. And then Tikhon Pileski with the 94, rounding out your top 3 qualifiers here today.
We got 4 drivers left to qualify, starting it off with Magomed Omarov in that beautiful IS 300. The current qualifying score is an 87.3 or better. You see him initiate in. Good initiation, leaving that zone a tad early, having to make a big correction, so he transitions early, putting him off that wall slightly, but works his way back out there. Magomed needs to get the rest of this right as we see him transition a little shallow on that inside clip, going through the next outer zone. One last transition, putting it on the yellow line, and coming across and finishing out his first run.
Yeah, Magomed's showing big improvements here this time around in this new season and new car. 82 on the board, so it does fall shy of making it into that top 32. But we know he's got some room left in him. We're back around to Jonathan Simpson. Fantastic looking 180 here. And throwing that car in, filling the first outside zone. And nice and snappy into outside zone 2. Keeps things going. Nice transition for outside zone 3. Grabs that inner clip and then fills outside zone 4. Oh, and he's going to go just a little wide for that last and final outside zone. So small deductions coming there, going super wide.
Really full sending it through that last sector of the course.
Yeah, he certainly did, and comes up short.
Now we have Claudius in his BMW, initiating in. Getting a good job filling that first outer zone. Oh, nicking the wall again. And oh, yeah, that's going to be a 0 for him. Hitting that wall, having an in-chaseable run. Claudius on a 0. That's not good for your first run of qualifying.
No, unfortunately it isn't, but yeah, another driver that we know he's certainly capable of making it on into that top 32, but that is going to be a 0 on the board for him along that wall. And here we go with Victor Lacheris. Another rookie driver for us, throwing that car in and filling that first outside zone. Smooth on down into the next outside zone. I'm not sure what that hiccup was, but we'll keep things going and keep fingers crossed as he is smooth around that inside clip. Nice transition into the last outside zone as well. Does leave the outside line just a little bit there, but overall not too bad of a run from Victor.
Yeah, so Victor with that 87. So far, all 4 drivers in this final group are below that cutoff. So this second run means everything for them. Magomed Omarov, 82 points on the board, needs to improve as we see him transition into outer zone 2. Gets on throttle, puts it right up onto the wall. Now transitioning through the next outer zone and into that inside clip. Pushing out wide through the second to last outer zone. One last transition here for Magomed Omarov's qualifying session. Will it be enough?
Yeah, it's going to be really close. Again, cut off Alexander sitting on the 87. So he needs to better it if he wants to make it on in. And at 86 just comes up 1 point shy. We're moving on to Jonathan Simpson, 84.3, so he needs to better his first score as well, filling that first outside zone, banging it off the limiter. Really nice into outside zone 2, though, along that wall, following that white line there. Little late on the transition. He's going to go just a little wide for inside clip. Grabs the next outside zone. Last and final transition in the course here. There he goes across that finish line for run 2.
And Jonathan with an 88.7, so that does push him up into the top 32. Not sure what the cutoff would be now, but Claudius needs to improve on that 0. Let's see what he can pull out here. Good through outer zone 1, looking way smoother through 2. Really showing that wall from the first run. This is how it's done. As he transitions now into that inside clip, leaving a little bit of room, but enough to keep the momentum going as we see him coming through the final clip now, final outer zone. Crossing the finish line is Claudius. We'll see if it's enough off of that 0.
Ooh, and it is going to fall just a little bit short there. 80 on the board. And we're on to our last and final run of qualifying for round 1. Here we go. Victor Lachaire trying to better the 87. Throws that car into outside zone 2. A little tentative there to get on throttle. Stuffs the bumper into the wall, though, before he leaves it. Makes this transition just a little late. Has to choke up to grab that first inside clip. And good transition this time into the last and final outside zone, and he'll finish it out strong. That might come up just a little bit short of his previous 87. And no, it doesn't. 87.3. We'll cycle on through these scores here. And ooh, it looks like he's going to come up short, possibly. We'll have to sort them out and see if that is true, that 87 for his first run isn't going to push him on into the top 32.
What a qualifying session. We said it at the beginning that close to an 88 would be the cutoff, and we might have made it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Super close here. Let me pull up the full sheet of qualifying here to see if that is right, that Victor's 87.3 there. As you see, Yuna and Ethan with their 87.3s, it all comes down to their other score. Yeah, it might be Yuna that gets knocked out here. Again, just searching through. '81. Ooh, so it might end up being Ethan Pikachu that doesn't make it in, as his low score is an 81, while Victor's is an 87, and Yuna's looks to be an 82. And there it is right there. Victor Lachaire moves on up into the 31st position, and Yuna will round out the top 32 with that 87.3. So close today with the cutoffs and drivers not being able to make it in. Unfortunate thing to see, but we hope to see them back for round 2, as that'll be another exciting round as well. We'll cycle through these qualifying scores. Alan Hines ends up first position with a 95.3. Mustafa with his 94.7. Tikhon Pileski, 94. Yasir Saad, another rookie here in the top 8 with a 92. Austin Zalewski, another rookie, 92. Artem Makushenko, another rookie with a 92. Lukas Staziemski, and guess what? Another rookie with a 91.3. And then Roman Kondratenka rounding out that top 8 in that Ferrari with a 91.3.
Insane scores today. Everyone just driving so hard, and the rookies really coming out and showing that they deserve to be a part of this championship.
Absolutely. They certainly put on a show, and almost all of them are here into the top 32, and we picked up 16 of them from Sujigiri. Not to mention the other 5 that we picked up from Wildcard, and then a couple of others that were able to petition in from the other competitions. So a crazy top 32 coming up between these veteran VDC drivers and these rookies here in their first season of competition.
I think overall it's been an amazing qualifying session. We thank all the drivers for coming out and showing us what they can do. And for those who didn't make it, we'll see you in round 2.
Absolutely. Again, as you said, that's going to round out our top qualifying. And we'll take about an hour break, maybe an hour and 15 minutes on the clock here. And we'll start things up for top 32. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you back in about an hour and 15.